I don't know. I'm relatively an optimist, so I think there's a 25% chance that things go really, really badly.
Well, things did go really, really badly. Just not the way he meant. $500 million from a man now sitting in a federal prison for fraud. More money the CEO admitted would enrich, in his words, dictators. Millions of books bought and shredded in secret. And the largest copyright settlement in American history. This is Anthropic, the company behind Claude, the one that spent years telling you it was the careful one, the ethical one, the good guys.
But when you feel that you can't trust someone, when you feel that their values are not what they say they are, when you feel that they're not honest.
That's their CEO on why he walked away from OpenAI. Remember what he just said, because this whole story is about to hold him to it. Come here, let me show you Dario and Anthropic's receipts, and you can decide for yourself. Okay, to get why this story matters, you have to understand who these people are, because they're not nobodies, not even close. In 2021, 8 people walk out of OpenAI. Yeah, the ChatGPT company. And they start Anthropic. These aren't random interns either. Dario Amodei ran research at OpenAI. His sister Daniela ran safety and policy. Jared Kaplan discovered the scaling laws, the math that says a bigger model gets smarter. Todd Brown led the training of GPT-3, OpenAI's flagship. The technology the whole industry runs on today, this is the group that built a lot of it. So when they get up and leave, people pay attention. And the man at the center of it, Dario, is not your typical tech founder. He's a physicist, a physics Olympiad kid who went off to Princeton to study neurons, real brain cells under a microscope. I know, right? Then, back in 2014, at a company called Beidou, he notices something that rattles him. The AI just keeps getting smarter as they feed it more computers. More data, more compute, a better model. That's simple. And that one observation is the reason he does everything he does. If AI just keeps scaling with no ceiling in sight, then somebody had better make sure it's safe. So Dario becomes something like the industry's prophet of doom. He's a scientist that looks at the thing he's building and tells you, right to your face, there's a 1 in 4 chance that it ends all of us. Oh, and he starts the company with his little sister, Daniela. He's the CEO and she's the president, a brother and a sister running what is now a $180 billion company together. And the reason they leave is the whole point of this video. Make sure you remember it. They say OpenAI is putting money and speed ahead of safety. That the company has taken billions from Microsoft and it's now racing to ship products instead of making sure the thing is safe first. That's a key point. The crux of the whole reason they found Anthropic. Money and speed over safety. Remember it, because you're going to hear it again. Now, it helps that OpenAI keeps handing them the moral high ground. Late 23, OpenAI's own board fires Sam Altman. They say he isn't being consistently candid with them. He's back in 5 days. Then, OpenAI, a company founded as a nonprofit for humanity, spends the next 2 years trying to shed that nonprofit skin and turn it into a regular for-profit. Elon Musk, one of the original funders, sues them for betraying the mission. OpenAI wins the lawsuit on a technicality. And OpenAI's top safety researchers quit, saying safety has taken a backseat to, quote, shiny products. So against all that noise, Anthropic looks like the grown-ups, the careful ones. They publish research on making AI honest. They build something they call constitutional AI. The idea that the model follows a written set of principles like a little Bill of Rights. The branding is safety. Every headline reads, the responsible lab. And there's one more piece you'll need that'll become important later, so take note. It explains the money. Almost everyone in this founding world comes out of a movement called effective altruism, EA for short. The very quick version. They use logic and evidence to do the most good possible. For a lot of these folks, that means earning enormous piles of money so they can give it away and treating AI might wipe out humanity as the top problem worth solving. And this world is small, almost uncomfortably small. Before Anthropic, Dario shares a house with a guy named Holden Karnofsky. And Karnofsky just happens to be one of the people deciding where the whole movement's money goes. Keep that with you. It's an important detail. Remember Karnofsky. So you have idealists and true believers. That halo, they earned it, at least at the start. Now I'm going to show you what happened to it over time. So saving humanity is expensive. Building this stuff costs billions, and a company that won't take money from bad people has a problem. Everybody is bad, more or less. The first money comes from inside the EA family. Remember them? It's May 2021. John Tallinn, a Skype co-founder and a big AI safety funder, leads the first round, $124 million. That's fine. It's on brand. And remember Holden Karnofsky, the guy that shared the house with Dario? He matters now. Karnofsky runs Open Philanthropy, one of the biggest money taps in this whole movement. And Open Philanthropy is one of Anthropic's early backers. He also lands a seat on Anthropic's board. Oh, and one more thing. He's married to Daniela, the company's president, Dario's sister. So follow the money and it just loops back on itself. The funder, the board, the founder's family, they're all at the same dinner table. Arguments at family get-togethers would be wild. I digress. Moving on. Then April 2022, less than a year later, the big one lands. $500 million, $500 million in a single check. From the guy the tech press keeps calling the most generous man in the industry. The golden boy of effective altruism himself, Sam Bankman-Fried. At the time, it looks perfect. SBF is one of them. Same movement, same earn to give gospel. His crypto exchange, FTX, is worth $32 billion. He writes the check, takes his 8%, and everybody moves on. 7 months later, FTX collapses. And this isn't a bad quarter. It's fraud. Customer money, billions of it, just gone. Funneled out the back. SBF gets arrested, goes to trial, gets sentenced to 25 years in prison. And now the safest, most ethical AI company on earth has a problem. 1/10 of it belongs to the estate of a convicted criminal. That money is evidence, and the people SBF stole from want it back. So in 2024, the bankruptcy team sells the whole stake to pay the victims back. The sale nets about $1.3 billion. A big chunk of it goes to investors in the United Arab Emirates. Now here's the twist that'll make your eye twitch. If they just held that stake a little longer, today it's worth over $30 billion. SBF still posts about it from prison. How he posts from prison, I have no idea. His fraud accidentally becomes one of the greatest venture bets of all time, and he has to sell it at the bottom to pay for that fraud. Karma? But the money story doesn't end with SBF. It gets crazier from here. Because in July 2025, an internal message from Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, the safety guy, leaks receipts. In it, he's telling his own staff that Anthropic is about to start taking money from Gulf states. There's, quote, a truly giant amount of capital in the Middle East, easily 100 billion or more. He admits in writing that this will enrich, in his words, dictators. And then he says the thing that's basically the thesis of this entire video. He writes, quote, no bad person should ever benefit from our success is a pretty difficult principle to run a business on. Listen to that again. The founder of the ethical AI company telling his team that ethics don't really survive contact with the money, contact with the real world. So that's the money. Fraud money coming in, dictator money on the way, and a CEO openly saying the principles are negotiable. And if that were the whole story, it would be enough. It's not. Because at the exact same time all of this is unfolding, there's a second secret hidden below the surface. Here's the thing nobody outside the company truly understands. To make an AI sound smart, you have to feed it an ocean of writing. Books, especially. Millions of them. And the good books, the ones under copyright, you're supposed to pay for. Anthropic doesn't pay for them. Go back to the very beginning. It's January 2021. The company is barely off the ground, and co-founder Ben Mann sits down and downloads a collection called Books 3. Almost 200,000 books. And he knows they're pirated. Then, June 2021, they pull about 5 million more from a site called Library Genesis. Then, July 2022, right in the same stretch they're cashing SBF's 500 million, they grab another 2 million from a second pirate library. I want you to really see this. The fraud money and the stolen books aren't two chapters. They're the same chapter. At the exact same moment they're raising cash from a man about to go to prison, they're also quietly building a library out of 7 million books they never pay for. 2 skeletons, 1 closet. And they know. Internal messages show leadership picks piracy on purpose to skip what they call the legal and business slog of licensing the books the right way. Then it gets darker. It's early 2024. The same month SBF is being sentenced and that tainted steak is getting quietly sold off. And Anthropic realizes the pirated books are a legal landmine. So they start a second operation to cover it. Inside the company, they call it Project Panama. The plan? Destructively scan every book they can get their hands on. They're spending tens of millions buying physical books by the truckload. They bring in a former Google executive, the man who ran Google's old book scanning project, and they run the books through a machine that trims off the spines, scans every page at high speed, and sends what's left to be recycled. So somewhere between 500,000 and 2 million books, bought, cut apart, and thrown out to feed a machine. And they know exactly how it looks. One of their own planning documents says it flat out. We don't want it to be known that we're working on this. It comes out anyways. 3 authors sue. Discovery cracks the whole thing wide open. 4,000 pages of receipts. And in 2025, a judge draws a line that's going to shape this entire industry. Training AI on books you bought legally, that can be fair use. But download millions of pirated ones and hoard them, that's just theft. Anthropic settles. $1.5 billion. Around $3,000 a book for roughly 500,000 works. The largest copyright settlement in American history, paid by the company that told you it was the ethical one. So let's go back to where we started, to that founding accusation, the reason these 8 people walked out of OpenAI in the first place. They said that others put money and speed in front of safety and ethics. And then they took $500 million from a fraudster, lined up money they admitted would enrich dictators, pirated 7 million books, and shredded millions more in secret, praying that it would never get out. The exact thing they left in protest of, they did all of it, just with a better logo. And the wildest part, it worked. Anthropic today is worth over $180 billion. Claude is everywhere. The good guy brand is mostly intact because most people using it have no idea any of this happened. Which brings us back to that one leaked sentence from their own CEO. No bad person should ever benefit from our success is a pretty difficult principle to run a business on. Maybe he's right. Maybe that's just how you build something this big. I think it's worth being honest about what this actually means. The company built to save us from AI decided over and over that the mission was worth bending the rules for. So who's going to save us? So the next time a company tells you they're the good guys, ask who's paying them. And more importantly, ask what they had to destroy to get there. I'll leave it at that.